All right, so I'm Sergeant Wells. I am the UAS coordinator for SPD, and this is my boss, Lieutenant Williams. We're generally running with this program, trying to get it going, and bring DFR and drones to patrol. Just a little bit about myself. I've been with the department for 15 years. I've done 14 years in patrol and 7 years as a sergeant. I did about 9 years on SWAT. I'm a certified instructor with defensive tactics and emergency vehicle operations, which is just instructing people in the academy and officers on the road, just trying to help them out with their driving skills. I'm a FAA Part 107 certified pilot, which just means I got certified through the FAA to fly drones for the department, and I got that in 2022. So these are just highlights for the department. As far as the drone program goes, we have 23 Part 107 certified pilots currently in the department. 4 of them are in our crime scene unit. 1 is in traffic, 1 is in bomb, 4 are in SWAT, 10 currently in patrol, and 2, which would be myself and Lieutenant Williams, are UAS and emergency management. We also have 1 in training, which is Lieutenant Tom here, who's going to be working with a robot dog. We have 13 drones. 1 is the M30, which is our largest drone here, which gives us the most capability. It has the longest flying time and the best camera. And then we have a Mavic 3, which is what we'll be putting out with patrol. It's a little bit smaller. It's going to be easier for them to unpack, right, and deploy in a timely manner, get out quickly. And then the Avadas, which are our little drones. These go indoors, right? This is where our SWAT team flies. The propellers are all protected, so it's okay if they crash into things. It's not going to damage anything or hurt anybody, okay? So we have 2 DJI Dock 2s. Those are going to be permanently located in places around the city. We're looking at putting 1 on the west side and 1 as a backup or a possible future location when we decide on where that can go. They're currently not being used. We're in the process of getting that final approval through the city, the Common Council, and we'll be looking to hopefully get those up and running soon. We've got 6 drones that are several years old, so they're retired. But we are using them occasionally for training and to do a little bit of photography. So some of our units will use it to record some of their training, and then they can play back video and look and see if they can improve in any way. We've also updated our UAS policy to reflect having a DFR program and also adding them more out to patrol. And then we've also received waivers from the FAA in order to fly the BV losses beyond visual line of sight. So officers will be able to deploy them, and if they have to fly around the corner of a building or beyond some trees where they can no longer see the drone in order to try to locate a suspect or a person in need, they can do that sort of thing. Because normally with the FAA, they want you to be able to see the drone at all times. So we had to get special waivers in order to do that. So most of this is pulled from our policy, and this is just some highlights on how we'll be using the drone. The policy will outline that drones won't be weaponized, and they will not be used to conduct random surveillance. I've seen some posts out there on Facebook. People are concerned about facial recognition and plate readers and that sort of thing, so that's why I added that line in there. We don't have that technology on the drones. They're just a flying camera. They will not be used to target individuals based on perceived characteristics. We're not looking to harass or intimidate people, and officers won't be conducting personal business with a drone. So they'll be flying for police matters only. The purpose of the drones will be to protect lives and property and improve efficiency and safety for officers and the public. Pilots will strictly adhere to constitutional and privacy rights, as well as FAA regulations. The drones used for patrol operations will only respond to calls for service, and the reason for that is to avoid any surveillance issues. So the officers won't be using the drones to try to generate an arrest, right? They're not going to use it to build probable cause on somebody or just fly around searching people's yards and that sort of thing. They will be receiving a 911 call as they would in the car. they'll go to the call, and if they feel it's something they could put a drone up, and it would help them to handle the call, that's when they'll use it. The only time that they will be flying it around will just be for training. And part of our training on that will be to go to a less populated area, like go to a cemetery, right? Go to a park, something like that, just so they can get some flight time in and stay acclimated to operating the drone. So we're going to employ a hybrid model in the department. It's going to be a mix of DFR, which is drone as a first responder, and patrol-led response. So DFR is the permanently positioned drones. This is going to put it, like I said before, we'll have one somewhere on the west side. We're in the process of finalizing that now. But when a 911 call will come out on the west side, they'll be able to, an operator in our public safety building will be able to grab that drone and fly it over their computer remotely to a call. Nationally, and this is kind of what got us going with the DFR program. Nationally, departments are able to get drones to a scene in about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. And if we can get the video, we've been having some technical difficulties, but if we can get the video to play, there's a chief in California. They've had their program up and running for about 8 to 10 years, and it sounds like about 75% of the time the drone is on scene before any police officers can arrive. Can you go back one? Yeah. And then patrol-led, our plan for the officers having drones will be 2. We'll have 4 total in patrol, so it'll be 2 for each shift. And because of the way our shifts are designed with the overlap, that's why we have 4. So 2 can go out on days, and then there's 4 hours where the afternoon shift works alongside days patrol. So they will also have 2 drones that they can take, and then the drones that go out on the day shift will then go out on the midnight shift. So each shift will have access to 2 drones. All the pilots will be Part 107 certified, and again, they will only deploy the drones for a 911 call. So hopefully this video works. This is a 7-minute video. The chief of Chula Vista, which is the first department in the country to start a DFR program, it's a news interview, so we'll let this play. This kind of ties together most of the PowerPoint.
Big milestone.
The first of its kind program has led to more than 20,000 missions that were supported using these special drones. And Chula Vista Police Chief Roxana Kennedy is joining us now to talk more about all this. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Well, this has been around since 2018. It's groundbreaking. It's the first of its kind. You're kind of the test case. Explain to us what makes this so special.
Well, you have to understand when officers go out in the field, oftentimes they have no idea what they're getting themselves into, what they're going to be responding to. And so having a drone give aerial overwatch, kind of to share with the officers exactly what's happening prior to them getting there, makes all the difference. And I like to say that I don't believe that officers, we don't have a crystal ball. I know everyone else thinks we do, and that we know what we're going into. And we're going to see some examples that show how important it is to provide real-time information to officers so that they can make better decisions.
So the drones are even like a first responder to the first responders.
They respond in an average of 90 seconds. And you know that when somebody has a tragic incident occurring, seconds matter. And so it's super important to me as the chief of police to be able to provide innovative tools like this that really help our officers make better decisions as well as help our community.
And keep them safe, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and let's talk about these numbers. 20,000 missions in just a few years here. So let's break them down. So you've got like 2,800, I think, the number of times that the drones actually played a role. We have some of the stats right here. Over 4,000 times that officers did not even need to respond because of the drones. And then over 14,000 times that the drone was actually first on the scene. That's amazing.
75% of the time the drone gets there first. And the drone is providing, like I say, our cell phones. We can see them on our cell phones. And it'll give you situational awareness so that you can look at the scene and you can determine what's your best avenue of approach. Or sometimes it's better to just stay back and let the person de-escalate on their own.
Yeah, it's like a recon mission.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about some of the specific things, these instances that you've had, because we have some video to support some of it. And I know in one instance, it saved a man who was on fire and in dire need. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, my officers, I'm awfully proud of them because what I want people to know is that these officers put themselves in harm's way so often for someone that they don't even know, and that's really what service is. And we're going to get to see a video where a call came out over the air, and it was of a fire on the freeway. And for those that know, CHP usually monitors and is the one that responds on the freeway. And you'll see here that the drone operator.
So this is what your officers are seeing on their
Right.
phone.
So the call came out and location was given. The location was from a citizen who wasn't completely sure. Officers were responding to a different area. The drone went up and said, wait a minute, this is the actual location. Could you imagine if an officer got on the freeway at the wrong location and then had to backtrack? That's seconds that would make all the difference. So they were able to get to that location, and as the video goes forward, you would see that we have infrared on the drones. You can see where the heat source is. It directed the officers in. As the officers got there, the car was so fully engulfed that they didn't believe that anyone was even in the vehicle. And actually there was a man inside the vehicle, and he was screaming, and that's a cry, that's a really difficult thing to hear. And the officers just went into action and were able to pull this gentleman out through the rear window and save his life.
So this is saving lives on both ends for the first responders as well as people who might be in an emergency situation. Why aren't more departments doing it?
I think that anything new in funding makes it challenging for agencies. You know, this was not funded by our city at first. It was funded by our community through our police foundation. And then we were able to prove the value of this program, and now the city is 100% involved in supporting this program.
Let's take a look at another clip if we can very quickly here. This is a call about a man that maybe had a weapon or something like that. So we have that clip, we can show it. But as it turned out, thank goodness the drone helped out and helped the officers here with what actually happened.
This video I saw in 2019, and a call comes out with a man with a gun at a local taco shop. And I was watching this video. You can imagine being passerbys or citizens that are there. Calls are all coming in of a man with a gun. But actually, really what happened in this case, you know, I was watching as he put the gun up to his mouth, and I thought, for goodness sakes, is he going to commit suicide in front of us? And he actually pulled out a cigarette and lit the cigarette, and you could see the smoke coming out. And you can imagine the difference that would make to an officer as you're responding, right? Your mindset is that there's a man with a gun. When they change it up and they say that it is a man that it appears to be a cigarette lighter, it kind of changes your response. Still vigilant, still careful, but that's sometimes where tragedies come into play because, like I said, we don't have a crystal ball and we don't know what we're going into. So having the capability of having technology like this, in my opinion, is a game changer.
And you can just tell that you're beaming with pride over this program. You're telling people about it all around the world. What do you want to see happen with this?
Well, I believe we're at the forefront right now after a little bit over 5 years of Chula Vista kind of leading this and sharing our story. And we believe that we should share our story with other agencies because this is such an important tool for law enforcement. I'm hopeful that legislation is the challenge that we deal with right now. There's a lot of legislation out there, and there's a
Okay, so I picked that video for a few reasons because it kind of ties in a little bit about what I was talking about in my slides. Our program right now is a little bit more in theory than it is in practice, right? We have some of the equipment, we've deployed some of it and used it. The DFR program, you know, we have not used any of that at all, right? We're working towards that. So I show the video because it shares some statistics from a program that's been doing it for 8 to 10 years. They, you know, in the videos they're showing search and rescue missions. They're showing the de-escalation capabilities of the drone, right? Like, you know, if officers show up to a call of a man with a gun, they're going to show up with their guns out, you know, ready to react. So because the drone's able to see that it's not an actual gun, it immediately lowers the level of the call, right? And you know, the officers are going to come in a little more calm. They're going to come in, you know, at an appropriate level of force, rather than guns out and potentially somebody, you know, making a mistake, right? It's going to eliminate that opportunity. What I do have, you know, is some examples of how it's worked for us. You know, for example, the larger drone over here, the M30, we use that for ATV details, right? Those are a big nuisance in the city. They're all over, you know, tearing around, speeding, passing people, riding wheelies, you know, just a large nuisance in the city. So we'll use the drone to follow them when we locate them. We'll follow them, and when they land somewhere, we'll confiscate the ATVs. We had one instance where we were setting up for an ATV detail, and OnStar had called and said that there was a stolen vehicle in the area moving around Skunk City. We were able to put the drone up right away, and we located the stolen vehicle before any officers even got into the area. And as soon as we got eyes on the vehicle, we notified OnStar. OnStar just turned the vehicle off, and the occupants got out and ran, right? In my opinion, that's a form of de-escalation, right? Because that's not turning into a car chase with our officers and then putting other lives at risk. We were able to track the driver right through some backyards, and he kind of bedded down next to a house. And we were able to just, once the officers got on scene, we just talked him right in, and they took him into custody without incident. So that's a win in our eyes. We have one of these drones here, an officer he's been flying for SWAT for a couple years now. We issued him one of our older drones to deploy on patrol to see how that would function, and if it was a viable resource for us for patrol operations. He has caught several people on foot chases, right? He works the midnight shift, so real hard to see people at night. The thermal camera comes in, it's a huge asset at night, right? So he's able to track people through the woods, right, backyards, that sort of thing, find them, and be able to talk officers right into where that person is. So he's grabbed several people from that. About a year ago on the west side, there was a fire. There was actually an arson. A person had set it. Officers showed up into that area. Immediately, a witness approached his vehicle and said the person had fled into the backyards in a direction he pointed out for the officer. That officer immediately put the drone up. It takes about a minute, and it's probably in the air. Within a few minutes, he located that person hiding between a woodpile and a fence. I don't know if our officers would have been able to locate that person, walking around in that area. Like it's going to be hard to find somebody in that situation, but the thermal was able to pick up that person very quickly. So we were able to catch an arson suspect. So those are a few examples of the uses that we've had for it that have been successes for us. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to get to the point where Chula Vista is, right, where this is, we're running thousands of missions and hopefully making the public safer. Thank you. Yeah. So we're going to try to, we've been having some technical difficulties. We're going to try to put a drone up for you and actually show you what the streaming looks like. And if it's not going to cooperate right away, we may pivot and do the dog first, and then hopefully we can get the streaming up and running. But we want to show you what the capabilities are with the drone, and then also we'll show you a little bit of the drone program and some of the checks and balances that the program itself provides. So this is the software program. It's called DroneSense. It also goes by Axon Air. But this is really the heart of everything that we're doing with drones. So just start at the house for me if you could. Just start at the main one, yeah. Go back to December for me. So, as a program administrator for the UAS program, this calendar in the software program tells me every single flight that every officer does. So, if there's a training flight, it's marked as a training flight, and this is a SWAT activation, and then this is a DR, right? So this is a call where that officer had put it up, and that's actually the officer that works the midnight shift, and we've had deploying that medium-sized drone there to kind of see how it works. But this is, myself and Lieutenant Williams here are notified of every flight. Anytime somebody launches it, we get a text message. So we know when one's in the air, and then this program also puts out a live feed. So I can watch the live stream anytime anybody has a drone up, right? So as a supervisor for the program, if somebody's using it improperly, I'll see. And then this also tracks all the data for the flights too. So if I go back in and I look at their flight, I'll be able to tell what they did, possibly figure out any mistakes, crashes, that sort of thing. Can you click on the 20th on the bottom one? So this is a thumbnail that pops up. Can you go back to that? Thank you, sorry. So this thumbnail that he's gonna pull up, now we're planning on putting out to the public, all of our DFR flights are gonna go onto a public website. So you'll be able to see all the DFR flights that we do. What it'll look like is very similar to this. There'll be a little bit more information as far as the duration of the flight and a couple other details. But generally that's what it'll look like. Go ahead and click on that. So this breaks down all the information. You can see the date up in the top left corner. The flight duration coming across the top is 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Max altitude, 273 feet. So in that area, the airspace in that area on the east side of the city is 400 feet, so he's well within the FAA regulations, right? He's sticking to policy. These are all things that I can check. He puts the DR number up there. This is part of our training for these officers. They put the DR in, so if I need to look up any information on it, I can find it. Or if there's a complaint that comes in, I can look up the call and figure out what was going on there. In the notes, you can see right here, it says Berg. So it's a burglary, and he was using the drone to sweep for suspects. Doesn't say he located anybody, which that'll be something that we'll add in if they located anybody and it was resulted in an arrest. But this provides all the key information that we need with regards to the program. You can see the weather down in the bottom left. It tells the drone. It even tells what battery they were using. So this program will track how many times a battery's been used. It'll track the conditions of batteries. So moving further down into the program, it'll track all the pilots. It'll track all of their training. Right, so if they go away for training or I put on a training for drones, I can put all that right into their profile, and it'll tell me what everybody has for training. It also tracks the maintenance for drones. So what I do is I go on to, our drones are all DJI is the manufacturer. So I go onto the DJI website and I check what the recommendations are for like changing props, for example. The lifespan of batteries, right? So I enter all that information into this program, and when it hits the hours necessary to change propellers, it notifies me. So then I can do the proper maintenance on the drones. If the batteries are beyond their lifespan, I can replace batteries. We know when to purchase new batteries. Okay, you want to go to the Ops Hub? So this is the Ops Hub for the program. So if anybody is flying, you see the green highlighted I for information there. That's letting me know that one is active. It's gray if a drone is inactive. Excuse me. General, yeah. So this should pull up the live stream, the camera. So this is the larger drone, and you'll see on the screen he's making it a little bit bigger, but this is the camera and that's the stream. So it's pretty close. The stream is accurate. It's a couple second delay, but like I said, as administrators, I'm going to be on fire because it's really hot in here. But as administrators, like I said, we'll get a text message. I can connect to this stream, anytime, any hour of the day. If I'm home, I can pop in and I can see what people have it up for. And this is what I'll see on my phone. It's just a live feed of what the officer is doing. Jay, can you take it out and put it up for a minute? So I'm going to have Lieutenant Tom, I'm going to have him take it outside and put it up. And we have 200-foot airspace right here, so we'll put it up about 180 feet. And I'll have him look around with thermal, with the regular camera, zoom, that sort of thing, just so you can get an idea of what their capabilities are.
Sergeant, can you talk quickly about Chula Vista had that dashboard, what we plan on doing similarly to that?
Can you Google Montgomery County Sheriffs? I believe it's Maryland.
How do you just screw up and change the screen?
We should be okay.
high level overview of what we plan on doing.
So this is an agency that has this program up and running, and you might have to go to their. It should be in Maryland. And you might have to go to the drone or DFR. Yeah. Yeah, click on that. Scroll down. Yeah, right there. So this is what ours will look like. This website is put on by DroneSense. So this is what ours will look like. Once we get the DFR program up and running, DroneSense is going to build this for us. So these are the thumbnails that I was describing.
Click on.
Yeah, I don't think it'll show you like, which I wanted to do that too. I forgot in ours.
Yeah.
So yeah, can you go back to ours and I'm sorry, show that one. I forgot one more thing. If you can go to Solis's again in December.
Yeah, I think the point that I was trying to make, and I didn't talk to the sergeant about it ahead of time, was that part of this is, the reason for this is transparency. You know, if you want to know why a drone was flying in your neighborhood, we're going to have something on our website so you'll know why.
And then do the
There's no
replay,
secret here.
yeah.
It's all going to be on our website and you'll be able to click into it.
Yeah, do that for me. Yeah.
It will be. It's not yet.
Not to interrupt, I mean, when I used to teach, I would never say this to anybody, but just in case anybody wants to see the drone, that's one of the reasons why we chose Grant. You can look out the windows, you can actually see the drone, which is right outside. Yes.
So just one more thing, ma'am. So this is one part I forgot to show. This is that call that I showed with Officer Solis where he was flying it on the night shift. This is overlaid on Google Earth, and this just shows the flight path of the drone. It's like a 3D image. It shows you can kind of see a field of view in the blue or green coloring there. That's the field of view that the drone is looking at. But most importantly, you can see a crosshair. You see the crosshair moving around just kind of outside of the green? That's exactly where the camera is pointed. So if we have anybody with any questions about what a drone was looking at, right, or they call me and they're like, hey, you know, this drone was hovering over my house, it was spying on me, I can go in here and I can show exactly what it was looking at, right? So I can confirm or deny that.
How far off the ground is it?
So right there, he's 272 feet. AGL, which is above ground level. HAT is height above terrain, 246. The height above terrain is what I find to be most accurate.
How far can you follow a car?
So they'll really only go about a mile. These ones, it's a little less. The larger one that Lieutenant Tom is flying there, that'll go about a mile, maybe a mile and a half, and then it'll start losing signal. So they're not traveling all over the city. They're in a pretty... Yeah. And you know, we haven't put it in practice yet, but hopefully, you know, we can come up with some procedure where, you know, the drone can kind of just track the car and we have less car chases, hopefully, and then make it safer. Yeah, if you can pull up the live feed now. Oh, he took it away from the phone.
I mean, maybe if we can go out in the hallway and fly it, or I can take the drone with me.
Is it still raining?
Sorry?
Is it still raining? Okay, yeah. You want to go toss that up?
Phone, it's connected to your phone.
It's, I think that one's connected to my work phone.
Which is up
Right here. Sorry about that. Lieutenant Tom walked away from the Wi-Fi, so we lost the connection. Which this works out better anyways. The Mavic 3 that Lieutenant Williams is going to take out and buzz around, this is more in line with the capabilities of what the drone will have for the drone as a first responder. Okay, the drone in a box. It's very similar in size to that drone, and the camera is almost exactly the same. So as far as the zoom capabilities, it should match that. Yes, sir.
I have a question. This might be a silly question. If you were just in the car, how fast does drones go?
So keep in mind, right, we don't have to follow roads. So we can go as a crow flies directly to point. They'll only fly for about a half an hour. So we're limited on flight time. And depending on the drone, they're maybe 35 miles an hour, maybe 40. So we've used it chasing around ATVs and dirt bikes on those details, and we haven't had any problem keeping up with them. So it's good.
What kind of a signal does it give you that it has to return?
So when the battery starts getting low, it's right around 20%, it starts beeping at us, and then at a certain critical level, it just flies back to us.
That's what I was going to say. So it does fly back.
Yep. It'll automatically come. It's got a return to home point where it took off from, so it'll automatically return to that point.
So I have a quick question, if you don't
Yep,
mind.
go ahead.
You said that you had a 200-foot height
Altitude?
restriction here.
Yep.
But obviously there were 400 in other places.
Yep.
How do you monitor the height restrictions?
Yep, so that's all put out by the FAA. That's a facilities map that they put out. All of our officers have an app on our phones that we can pull up, and it immediately tells you where you are, and it outlines all the flight zones, all the altitude restrictions. So this is the live speed that Lieutenant Williams has up with the Mavic 3. So you can see exactly what he sees. And he's obviously in the thermal mode right now.
So this is up right now?
Yep, it's up right over this parking lot in the back, right over where you all are parked. So watching the live feed, I don't get the details of the altitude that he's flying at currently. I just see, obviously, the live feed.
Is it going to come down close enough for us to see it through the window right now?
Yeah, we can have him land, and you guys can see it come down. But he's going through the zoom right now. He's kind of showing you the capabilities of what it'll see.
Are you guys getting it on your phones right now? The information?
So I should have a text message. Yeah, I did. He's coming down right now. If you want to look out the window, it should be. Looks like it's landing right over here.
Oh, look at that. So, I have a question.
Yep.
It might be silly, but, so say there's a crime going on in a neighborhood at a home, and the drone is the first responder, and next door there's children, or there's somebody doing personal private business. Who sees this image, and is it stored? Can it ever be leaked online? You know?
So as far as the video, it's all in our evidence.com, data storage. So it's the same place as all body cameras and everything like that. So it's going to follow all of our same retention policies and procedures as our body cameras.
So if there's a crime going on in the home, and then next door somebody's doing sunbathing, we're going to be able to see that?
I can't speak to our policy exactly, but I would imagine that stuff would get redacted.
Okay.
Right, so as far as like if somebody's nude, or we're at a call at a house, somebody next door is in their backyard sunbathing nude.
And somebody asked for
Yeah.
we would handle those just the same way we would handle like a body worn camera request or a cops camera request. We have the ability to redact things through FOIL. So we have exemptions that we would apply.
Anything else? All right, we'll move on to the. Oh, go ahead, man.
How is the program funded?
So we got a grant. We got a grant through the state of New York, and that's how we're purchasing the software, all the drones, everything is right through the grant. Yep. So it's going to obviously depend on use, right? And generally, it's going to be a few years. The Lieutenant Williams had one that we flew for It was a little over a year, and I think it had about 300 flights on it, roughly. It was still flying great. It got ran over by a police car on the ground. So, yeah, not one of ours, not one of ours. But yeah, they should last us a few years. But at that point, also like new technology comes out, right? So we'll be probably looking to update. But that being said, also it sounds like some of the stipulations with the program, like after a year, we'll probably go back in front of the council and we'll have to prove the worth of the program, right? So we'll see from there. Yes, sir.
What about the weather? Heavy snowstorm, rain,
Yep.
90-degree weather. Obviously, I'm sure that's ideal for you.
Yep.
What about those terrible weather?
Yeah.
How does that impact operations?
Yep. So the largest one is waterproof, right? We've flown that in anything from rain to snow and sleet. That hasn't been an issue at all for that. We've had it in 40, 45 mile an hour wind gusts, and it's fine. It holds, it GPS locks right into position, and it doesn't move. The smaller drones that the patrol officers are going to be deploying, those are not weatherproof. So if it's raining, maybe like a light, misting rain, those will probably be fine. But if it's raining and snowing hard, they're going to be instructed not to put those smaller drones up.
What can I do as a private citizen to help the police department? How can I help? Fund it or?
I don't know if we need help with funding, but just observe and report, right? I don't know if the chiefs want to chime in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that the folks in this room can do is speak out about it. You're educated now. You're kind of ambassadors to the police department about what the program is, about how the policy looks. If you have questions about it, if you want to challenge your ideas and thoughts on the policy, we accept that. But you're really kind of ambassadors now about the program. Somebody's going to come to you and say, the drone was over my house, and we're hoping that you're going to educate it a little bit. These guys have done a really thoughtful job of thinking through the policy, taking feedback from the oversight committee, and working our way through that stuff. And this didn't just happen in a vacuum overnight. So that's really where I think it is helping. It's our job to educate you all and then answer your questions, but we're hoping you would take that education back and spread the word to other people. People are going to have concerns, but I think that we've shown that we're willing to look at those concerns and answer those concerns.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
The stationary one that you're talking about, what's the distance on that?
I'm sorry, the stationary one. So we have, through the FAA, I believe it's 3 miles that we can go up to with the FAA. We haven't started to test that drone yet to really see the functionality of it, but it's probably going to be a mile to a half, no problem.
So when I have State Farm car insurance, they have that little thing that I put behind my drive safe rearview mirror, and that tracked all my. That's kind of what that reminded me of when you pulled up the mapping of it.
Yeah.
It would track my car.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. Very similar.
My braking and my cornering. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully we can keep the officers in check and make sure they're not flying them too fast.
So you don't get a discount on their insurance, though.
Okay. I'll turn it over to the robot dog. Thank you.